Okay, so let me start recording this session as well. And so maybe it will be just broadcasted on YouTube and people will be able to see it. So you can watch it later as well. So hello everyone. Welcome to the orientation session for research round in the Bose Olympiad 2022. And today we will be discussing about what you are required to do in this round. Already, those of you who have attended the individual round, you the results are out. Perhaps you already know this. If you don't, you can ask later to the admin. They can help you with it. The research round is, however, very different. It's geared toward people who are interested in going further down the road. I see some of the people from Chinta research groups here as well, which is really nice. For example, I see Gurnur here. Maybe someone else, some other people are also here. But that's great. So I'll tell you what you are expected to do in the research round. Okay. Um, Basically, there are three levels. You already know this. There is the junior level, the intermediate level, and the advanced or senior level. And this applies to all of you, all three levels. The final output of this particular process will be a presentation. Will be a presentation. Okay, so she also knows that. Okay, that's great. So the final output of this research round will be a presentation. It's a PowerPoint presentation, or it could also be a video presentation. It depends on what your taste is in. And that presentation should be, if it's a PowerPoint presentation, it should contain at least 10 slides. And if it's a video presentation of what you are doing, then it should contain at least 5 to 7 minutes of video. You can record it in your home and then you can send it to us. Upload it in Google Drive and send the link of the Google Drive to us. So I'll give you the email address where you will send this in the chat. So you can write this down in your notebook. So it's chinta.aryabhatta@chinta.com. So yes, Ayana, go ahead. You have a question?
Yes, sir. Do we have to send the PPT also on the same email address?
Yes, please send the PPT in the same email address. That's correct. If you have a PPT or a video, whatever you have, please send it to that email address. I have already put the email address in the chat. Those of you who are joining in, please write it down. Okay. Now, what will be the topic of this round? So, the most important type of project which will get awarded should be a genuine problem. So, for example, I'm not asking you to find in Wikipedia what are Fibonacci numbers and just put it in a PowerPoint form. That's not what is expected from you. That is just presenting a concept that has been already discussed, that is already known. I'm not asking you to do that. Instead, I'm asking you to, for example, find patterns of Fibonacci patterns in flowers that grow around your region. Maybe you live in Pune, maybe you live in Calcutta, maybe you live in New York. I don't know where you live in. Depending on where you live in, the Fibonacci, the golden ratio patterns, the spiral patterns, for example, this is just an idea. Uh, the patterns that are observed, the Fibonacci patterns or the golden ratio patterns or golden spiral patterns, are patterns that are observed in other places. You can look it up online. What you will be required to do is to find such patterns in your locality, in the flowers around you, the flora and fauna around you, the architecture around you. That would be a genuine project. We are not expecting that you will be solving some great open problem. That's not the purpose of this particular project, this particular round. The purpose of this round is to see whether you can create a problem, an untouched problem, and then apply tools from mathematics, systematically apply tools from mathematics to solve that problem. This requires a very different type of skill set. When you give a test, you are required to solve some problems, right? In a test, that's what happens. In the research round, you have to create the problem as well. You have to think what problem you want to create. So there is a particular set of points. It's a 100-point thing. 30 points is allocated for problem creation. So what type of problem you are making, that is extremely important. That can give you a lot of edge over others. In fact, in the long run, when you go to universities, researchers all around the world face this difficulty. They do work on this issue to find a great problem, to write down the problem in an effective manner, to write down the problem in an effective manner. So it's a hard thing to do. You have to take your time and focus on what type of problems you want to attack, and then write it down very clearly so that others understand this is the problem that I'm going to solve. That problem cannot be I am just going to Wikipedia and finding out something about quadratic equation. That's not a research problem, right? So that's number one. Number two, the second thing is, when you try to solve the problem, one of the things that people do sometimes do is that they use data driven problems. So maybe you want to see the number, I'm just giving you an idea. Maybe you want to see the geometrical shapes that are available in the architecture around your home. That's a valid problem, something that one of you can take up. In fact, we will soon share with you a page which will contain many such project ideas, so that you can, you know, get inspired from there. It doesn't need to be very complicated. It can be very simple, but it has to be something interesting and something original. It's not that you're copying someone's work. Okay. Now, I'll give you an example of a project that could be really nice in level one or junior level, that is up to grade eight, up to grade four and five. Sorry, grade four and five. This problem can be like this: that you can go to the your neighborhood. Let's say you live in a housing estate, or you live in a particular place where there are many individual houses, and you find out what type of geometric shapes appear in the architecture in that region. You collect data. Maybe you go to 220 or 50 or 100 houses. You really write down, well, there are 70 cases where triangles showed up, 35 cases where circles showed up, and so on. So you can tabulate the data, and that particular data set, with whatever you tabulated, gives out some truth, some knowledge about the neighborhood that you live in. It can be a really interesting project, and I'll tell you this: versions of this particular project has been done by mathematicians and architects, and other people. So for example, you can also figure out what shape people are actually liking more, because after all, house owners tell the designers to create the shapes, right? In many cases that happens. So if you see that most people are liking triangles, triangles are appearing most number of times, then you know that if an architect comes to you for consultation, then okay, what type of shape I should be using in my designs, you can tell that person that okay, I have observed that most people are interested in triangles. So if you created designs containing triangles, then the possibility of people liking it will be more. So something like this is just an idea, but you can also come up with your own ideas, and that would be more important. Okay, I am seeing some questions, I'll come to that. The next 40 points, the first 30 points is to create the problem. So you create the problem. The second 40 points, the next 40 points is for solving the problem. If you can solve it completely, that's great. Even if you can solve it partially, you can get full points, provided you write down how you are attacking the problem. How you are attacking the problem. It's very important you write it down very clearly. That's part of the job. Okay. And the final 30 points is for like presentation. So if after you send the documents, either it's a presentation or a video, whatever you send, after you send it, we will review it, and then we will invite you to present it to the community if you are selected. Some of you will get honorable mentions, some of you will be winners. So it depends on the quality of the project that we get it. So the final 30 points depends on the presentation day. 30 points. So after we when we call you, it's everyone will at least get honorable mention. Whether you win or not depends on the quality of presentation. That's very important, because after you create a problem, after you solve the problem, it's also very important to effectively communicate your results. To effectively communicate your results, it's very important that you speak well. At least you speak in an organized manner that people understand. Okay. So that's the final 30 points. That's 100 points. Now the deadline for this, now I'll give you some time. The deadline for this is 27th September. That is 1 month from now, exactly 1 month from now. So within 1 month from now, you have to do this, and you can submit the presentation or the video or whatever. And then by 30th of September, we hope to invite you to the final presentation day. After midnight of 27th September, we will not be accepting any more submissions. Okay. So you do not need to get any approval of any topic you choose, but choose it carefully. You can ask us. You don't get to have a approval. You can ask us. That's fine. If you are an internal student of Chinta, then you can definitely ask in your admin in your help center box. But I don't think that is necessary, because even if the faculty who is connected with you says okay, this is good, it the jury board of this particular Olympiad is different. So you don't have control over them. The faculty members of Chinta will not have control over them. So you can also ask your teacher, your school teacher, your university. If you are in university, you can ask your university teacher. That's fine. Okay. Now I'll take questions. Okay, Bihan, what's your question? Go ahead.
Yeah, one thing is that I understood that we have to create our own problem, but like for the intermediate level, can you kind of give an example? Because I'm not understanding what kind of problem we are supposed to create,
Yeah,
like on what topic.
I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example. So for intermediate level, you can do a problem like this. That suppose you see that people are uh, moving, like there is a motion problem. So people are moving in your area. Okay. Maybe they're moving on bicycles, maybe they're moving on auto rickshaws, or I don't know, the public vehicles. There are buses, right? So when they move in a particular town, if you observe very carefully, you will see that they have a certain pattern of movement. Like maybe the auto rickshaws always swerve to the right hand lane more than they do when they go straight. So one project that comes immediately to mind is that to gather such data and use mathematics to create a model for efficient traffic management in your locale, like in your locality. So you can gather the data. Now you have to think more about it, how you will be able to do it, but you have to gather such data first, and then you can sort of tell that okay, this sort of traffic lighting system, or maybe you can also suggest in this particular lane more cycles are available, and you give exact data like numbers. So you create a separate cycle lane, or maybe a charging station, something like that, for e-vehicles if e-vehicles are coming up. One of the issues that often that will be very important in the upcoming years is the sustainability question, green energy and stuff like that. So there could be projects around that as well. For example, you can measure how much energy a typical household is spending, and then suggest certain things around that. So it could be very interesting and simple, and something that is real, that is not like copied from somewhere. Okay. Okay, let's go to Akshita Kashyap first. Akshita, go ahead. What do you have in mind?
So I wanted to ask, like, can we prepare two different presentations for a different topic and submit it?
You can do multiple presentations and multiple submissions, that's fine. If one is better than the other, then we will select that. So I'll tell you one thing that Akshita did, which can be a very nice thing. You can go to Chinta's YouTube channel and actually see she created an ellipse compass. It's a very beautiful presentation, you can see it. One project, sort of project idea, could be creating actual tools, very simple, like pen and string and pencil and those kind of a little wooden stick, simple equipments, but you create a tool to draw a certain type of geometric shape. Like we have compass to draw circles, and we have Akshita's ellipse compass to draw ellipses. But what about other shapes, like a perfect I mean, you can go back to researching some historical data, some other tools that people used to use, and you can sort of recreate some of that. That could be very nice. In those kind of situations, recreations can be also regarded as research. That's a very rare scenario. If you just tell us what are Fibonacci numbers, then we will not be that interested. But maybe Newton, or I don't know, Jagadish Chandra Bose created a certain instrument, and that was 100 years ago or something like that. And you find out how it was created, you write it down exactly how it was created, and you create it again yourself. That would be really nice if you can do it. Okay, let's go to Ayana Singh one more time.
Yes, sir. Sir, I had it out that can we choose only one topic or we can choose multiple also?
I would say that you should choose only one, because that will allow you to focus on it over the next 1 month. But if you want, you can do multiple submissions. Yes. Vihan, go ahead.
Thanks, sir.
So basically, we have to pick up a problem from daily life. More like in most of the cases, that is what is there, right? And try to recreate it and solve it using mathematics and show it is possible.
Correct. Something like that. And
Okay.
yeah, go ahead.
So can I, in one presentation itself, can I make a presentation on like two short topics, not separate presentations?
it would be appreciated if you focus on only one idea, but if they are connected ideas and if you want to sort of present both of them, sure, why not? Okay, Garima, go ahead.
So I wanted to know that we have to submit any brief of the research, like something that document, rather than the presentation or the video.
You have to submit the presentation or the video, not the brief.
Okay, sir.
Okay. All okay. Himabandhu Kaza, go ahead.
I actually forgot my question, sorry.
Sorry. Oh,
I forgot my
oh, you
question.
forgot your question. That's fine. So okay.
Yeah, look.
So it's great to meet all of you. It's really nice. Vinita, go ahead. You have a question. Akshita, oh, sorry.
So I had the question that can we include some kind of very special topic of physics, and we can just relate it with maths and make kind of a
Yeah,
presentation.
yeah, yeah, why not? You can do that. It's on mathematical sciences, so that includes mathematics, physics, or computer science. Three types of stuff. So you can pull in from anywhere. We will be deciding that Vihan later, the date of the presentation. Himabindu, go ahead.
So can can we like in one place compare two things and then like we talk about we should improve in this place and this place for junior. I
Yeah,
was planning maybe that we
yeah,
like
that sounds
four
really
sides on
nice.
this, four sides on that, and then maybe something has like something you can fix on one side, something I can fix on the other side, and make that to the 10 pages
Yeah,
like that.
that sounds nice. If you can do that systematically, why not? Okay. All right. It is great to meet all of you. I'm just going to end by saying that Chinta will be launching a peer-reviewed pre-college or a pre-university level journal where if your work is good, then you'll get a chance to publish your work and show it to the world. It can be very effective because once you are done with the contest, you can work on this long term. You can also say what you have plans for this project in the long term, and then if your project is really good, you can get it published, and that can be really helpful in the long run. And if you're applying to universities abroad, that can also be really effective there. The last date of submission is 27th September. Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone. I will be stopping out here today. All the best, and I'll see you later. Bye.
Bye, sir. Thank you.